Hello everyone, welcome to GK Today. All the videos of GK Today are absolutely free and available on GK Today's YouTube channel. And if you are looking for interactive quizzes in text and also their solutions, please download GK Today's Academy Android app. We have several free and paid courses in that app. Now this particular series is of 60 videos and in each video we are going to discuss select 15 questions and we shall also do 500 test questions after end of this series. Now let's start with the questions on Indian polity. So our first question is that which among the following acts provided for a High Commissioner who resided in London representing India in Great Britain? Now your options are option A, Government of India Act 1858, option B, Government of India Act 1909, option C, Government of India Act 1919, and option D, Government of India Act 1935. So the correct answer for the question is option C, Government of India Act 1919. See, this act provided for a High Commissioner who resided in London and represented India in Great Britain as well. Now let's move to the next question. So the provision for establishment of Supreme Court of Calcutta was made in which act? Your options are option A, Regulating Act of 1773, option B, Indian Council Act of 1861, option C, Charter Act of 1813, and option D, Pitt's India Act of 1784. Now the correct answer is option A, Regulating Act of 1773. See, the Regulating Act of 1773 provided for the establishment of Supreme Court at Fort William, Calcutta, and it comprised of one Chief Justice and 3 other judges. Sir Elijah Impey was the first Chief Justice of this Supreme Court. The next question is, which act clearly distinguished between the commercial and political functions of the East India Company? Now the options are option A, Charter Act of 1813, option B, Pitt's India Act of 1784, option C, Charter Act of 1833, and option D, Charter Act of 1853. Now the correct answer for the question is option B, Pitt's India Act of 1784. See, it was the Pitt's India Act of 1784 that distinguished between the commercial and political affairs of the company. The Court of Directors were to manage the commercial affairs and a new body called Board of Control was created to manage the political affairs. Further, it established the system of double government. Now, the next question is, which act during British India provided financial grant for encouragement of Indian literature and promotion of science? Your options are option A, Amendment Act of 1781, option B, Charter Act of 1813, option C, Charter Act of 1833, and option D, Charter Act of 1853. Now, the correct answer is option B, Charter Act of 1813. See, Charter Act of 1813 not only allowed the missionaries to travel to India but also provided for the allocation of 100,000 rupees per year for 2 specific purposes. First, for the encouragement of the learned natives of India and the revival and improvement of the literature, and secondly, for the promotion of knowledge and sciences among Indians. Now let's move to the next question. So the question is, who was the first Governor General of India? Now your options are option A, Warren Hastings, option B, Lord William Bentinck, option C, Lord Clive, and option D, Lord Macaulay. Now the answer for the question is option B, Lord William Bentinck. See, the Charter Act of 1833 made the Governor General of Bengal the Governor General of India and vested in him all civil and military powers. Now Lord William Bentinck was the first Governor General of India. Now let's move ahead with the next question. So the question is, which act abolished the East India Company and transferred the powers of the government, territories and revenues to the British Crown? So your options are option A, Charter Act of 1853, option B, Government of India Act 1858, option C, Indian Council Act of 1861, and option D, Indian Council Act of 1892. The correct answer for the question is option B, the Government of India Act of 1858. See, the Government of India Act of 1858, or we can say the Act of Good Government of India, abolished East India Company. Now, this act replaced the President of Board of Control with a Secretary of State of India, who, in subordination to the Cabinet, was the fountain of authority as well as the Director of Policy in India. Now the next question is, under which act the Legislative Council was given the power of discussing the budget in the British Indian Parliament? Your options are Indian Council Act of 1861, option B, Government of India Act 1858, option C, Indian Councils Act of 1892, and option D, Government of India Act 1909. So the correct answer is option C, that is Indian Council Act of 1892. Because the Indian Council Act of 1892 increased the number of additional members in the central and the provincial legislative councils, but maintained the official majority in them. The Act also increased the functions of legislative councils and gave them the power of discussing the budget and addressing questions to the executive. Now the next question is, the principle of diarchy was introduced in India by British government through which act? Your options are Indian Council Act of 1861, option B, Indian Council Act of 1892, option C, Indian Councils Act of 1909, and option D, Government of India Act 1919. Now the correct answer for the question is option D, that is Government of India Act 1919. See, talking about the Government of India Act 1919, which is also known as Montagu-Chelmsford reforms, introduced the system of diarchy in India. Now the Act also introduced diarchy at provincial level, and that Act also for the first time established Public Service Commission in India. Now the next question is that which Act provided for the establishment of Public Service Commission? Your options are option A, Indian Council Act of 1909, option B, Government of India Act 1919, option C, Government of India Act 1935, and option D, Independence of the India Act 1947. Now the correct answer for the question is option B, that is Government of India Act 1919. See, the Government of India Act 1919 provided for the establishment of a Public Service Commission as discussed earlier. Hence, a Central Public Service Commission was set up in 1926 for recruiting the civil servants. Now the next question is, which act abolished diarchy in the provinces and introduced provincial autonomy in its place? Now your options are option A, Indian Council Act of 1909, option B, Government of India Act 1919, option C, Government of India Act 1935, and option D, none of the above. See, the answer is option C, that is Government of India Act 1935. See, the Government of India Act 1935 allowed provinces to act as an autonomous units of the administration in their defined spheres, and it introduced responsible government in the provinces. That is, the governor was required to act with the advice of ministers responsible to the provincial legislature. Now the next question is, via which of the following acts Burma got separated from India? Now your options are option A, Indian Councils Act of 1961, option B, Government of India Act 1909, Government of India Act for the year 1919, and option D, Government of India Act 1935. Now the correct answer is option D, that is Government of India Act 1935. See, Burma got separated from India according to the provision of Government of India Act 1935. Other provisions under the Act included the carving out of Sindh from Bombay Presidency, Bihar and Orissa were also separated. The next question is, who became the first Governor General of the new Dominion of India? See, the options are option A, C. Rajagopalachari, option B, Lord Mountbatten, option C, Clement Attlee, option D, Rajendra Prasad. So the answer for the question is option B, that is Lord Mountbatten. See, after India and Pakistan attained independence at midnight on the night of 14 to 15 August 1947, Lord Mountbatten served as the first Governor General of an independent India until June 1948. Now the next question is that who held the portfolio of External Affairs and Commonwealth Relations in the first cabinet of Free India? Now your options are option A, Jawaharlal Nehru, option B, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, option C, Dr. Rajendra Prasad, and option D, Maulana Abdul Kalam Azad. Now the correct answer for the question is option A, that is Jawaharlal Nehru. See, Jawaharlal Nehru, as the first Prime Minister of Free India, held the portfolio of External Affairs and Commonwealth Relations. He further also held the portfolio of Scientific Research in the first cabinet of Free India. Now the next question in the series is, on which date was the resolution for giving effect to the Constitution of India was adopted? Now the options are option A, 21st March 1946, option B, 22nd January 1946, option C, 20th February 1947, and option D, 22nd January 1947. So now the correct answer is option D, that is 22nd January 1947. See, on 22nd January 1947, a resolution for the Constitution of India was unanimously adopted by the Constituent Assembly. Further, it had been earlier presented by Jawaharlal Nehru on 13th December 1946. Now let's discuss the last question for this video. So your question is that which act signed by B.R. Ambedkar on behalf of depressed classes in September 1932 abandoned the demand for separate electorate for the depressed classes? Your options are option A, Lucknow Pact, option B, Delhi Pact, option C, Pune Pact, and option D, Nagpur Pact. So the correct answer for the question is option C, that is Pune Pact. See, the agreement known as Pune Pact that was signed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on behalf of the depressed classes retained the Hindu joint electorate and gave reserved seats to the depressed classes. Now it abandoned the demand for separate electorates for depressed classes as well. Thank you so much. So this was all for today's video, and we hope that you like our new initiative. So please do provide your feedback in our comment section, and stay tuned for the more upcoming videos. Thank you.